Okay. Yeah. Good evening, everybody. This is Prophet Wow, and I would be, and I want to sit with you for a few and talk about tax reform changes that will devastate uh, so-called Black America. All right. I know this is not no Israelite stuff that y'all used to. I get it, but it really is. You know why? Because we in captivity here, and I know you have super spiritual people like super Israelites. And they're like, man, why are you talking about taxes, man? Yeah, how should I say this kingdom is not of this world? Yeah, his kingdom is not of this world. But guess what? We slaves in it. We have to pay taxes. So it would behoove us while we're in this captivity to navigate this, use the Torah to navigate the changes that's going to be happening. It behooves us as Israelites, so-called black people. It behooves us to educate ourselves on how things work and how we need to move and serve the Most High with all these type of different changes that are going place, and that we think about these things from a Torah-based perspective. Okay, from a Torah-based Bible perspective. What we're going to do is talk about these type of things. The reason why I like talking about these type of topics, you all, is because, when I was growing up, I always heard my parents say, shh, the news is on. Shh, the news is on. Shh, the news is on. And you know what? As a child, the type of child I was, I don't know what kind of child you was, but the type of child I was like, why we always have to be quiet? Why we always have to be quiet when the news come on? And the reason, because and so when they say shh, I always wanted to know from my parents' mouth, talk about the news. Let's talk about the news then. Obviously, this stuff is important because ever since I was a baby, you saying, shh, the news is on. Shh, the news is on. But guess what never happened? My parents never talked to me about the news. Never talked to me about the economy. Never talked to me about taxes. Yeah, your parents should be doing that. Your parents should be doing that. Now, I grew up in a Christian home. Yeah, your parents should sit down and read the newspaper with you. Should talk to you about the things that they are interested in, and that's going to help you. Yeah, your parents should do that. Now I know you got the superhero Hebrew Israelites. The only thing that you're supposed to read is the Bible. All right, whatever. Stop being a phony hypocrite. That's not the only thing that you can read in life is the Bible. Because as a teenager growing up, I wanted to know how the news corresponded with being a Christian. When I was a Christian, that's what so now I'm wondering, I'm the same person, but I know that I'm an Israelite. So now I want to know, how does this impact me as a poor Israelite that's in slavery? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. So what we're going to do is we're going to delve into this tax reform change that's going to devastate Black America. Hebrew Israelites, I want to say this to you. You could think you superhero all you want to, and that this is beneath you to talk about this, and this is not spiritual and it's carnal and all of that. But I'm going to talk about this from a spiritual perspective, But because you're not spiritual, really, you're not going to be able to detect that. You're not going to be able to detect that. Whether I use scriptures or not, you're not going to be able to detect it. You're not going to be able to siphon the spirituality that's in it off of it. You're not going to be able to get it. So, so tax reform changes will devastate Black America, so-called Black America. All right. Now, this topic is actually a Tone Talk conversation from his channel. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be giving commentary on what he and Yvette Carnell have already discussed, but I'm going to talk about it from a Israelite perspective. Okay. I think a lot of the ways that we as Israelites think as a people that's in captivity here in the land of the North, I think that we're going to have to rethink a lot of the things that we think, the things that we do. And because a lot of the stuff that we're thinking is not Torah based. And I'm going to prove it to you. And I'm going to do it inside the cell of talking about the tax reforms. Okay. Now, I'm not an expert in these things, y'all. So that's why I go to other people's channel and I piggyback off of their channel and I distill, I synthesize the information, and then, I share it with you. So that's what we're going to do right now. All of us got to pay taxes, y'all. So don't think you so super duper spiritual that, yeah, that's beneath me. No, it's not beneath you because you're a slave here. Just like I am. Okay. Melchizedek.
Open the floor after I say this line. I believe tax reform will devastate.
Go get my Beats Pill.
Welcome to Tone Talk. How's everybody doing today? This is Antonio Moon coming to you from Tone Talk. I have a wonderful guest, Yvette Carnell from Breaking Ground. We're here to discuss tax reform and the impacts that'll have on America at large, particularly low-income, middle-income families.
This thing is lagging.
Tax reform is serious.
I'm going to play this from my cell phone. One of the reasons why I'm looking at this topic like this, a lot of our people talk about moving to the country, moving to the country, moving to the country. And a lot of our people, and I've done this too, we talk about being a slave on our job and getting free from our job. But guess what? If the Most High wanted us to get free from our jobs as a nation of people in captivity, guess what? He never would have let us go into slavery. So guess what we're supposed to be here? Now, I know this is going to disturb a lot of people, but we're supposed to be slaves here. We're supposed to be faithful, hard-working slaves, keeping the Torah. I know, I get it. I get it. I know how you feel. But y'all, this is not our home. We're trying to get free of slavery on the plantation. You can't do that. That's like trying to get free of jail and you're in jail. You can't do it. That's why you're in jail. You don't want to be a prisoner in jail. And then listen to this. If you try to break out of jail, if you try to break out of this slavery that we're in, guess who you're fighting against? The Most High. Yeah, you're fighting against the Most High if you don't want to be a slave right now. Wow. Never thought of it that way, did you? You're breaking the commandments. You're breaking Torah by trying to get free of being a slave. Now, hey, now I'm not saying that if you got a business and you could be self-sufficient and live in the wilderness and stuff and all that, I'm not speaking against that. But I'm saying most people can't get free like that. The Most High ain't got that for most of us. Most of us were supposed to be here and work ourselves to death. That's what we're supposed to do. Keeping the statutes, laws, and commandments of the Most High. We don't supposed to try to escape on the plantation. And that don't make sense anyway. You're going to try to escape on the plantation. So whether you live in the city, whether you got a home business, whether you work at McDonald's, the Bilderberger Corporation, guess what? You're a slave there. That's what the Most High said in the book of Jeremiah. That's what the Most High said in Jeremiah. And he said, don't fight against it. Jeremiah said, don't fight against the slavery. He said, all those that fight against the slavery should be killed. Wow. Now, I know this is a different message, but guess what, y'all? Guess what y'all hearing right now? The gospel. Yeah, this is the good news of the kingdom while you're in captivity. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I know that messed you up, didn't it? That messed you up. Jeremiah told them don't fight against Nebuchadnezzar when he comes. He said, don't fight, brother. Just go into slavery. That was the gospel in Jeremiah's day. And I'm giving you the gospel today. I'm giving you the gospel today. When the Most High want us to be free, Isaiah chapter 11 is going to take place. The second Exodus. And before the second Exodus takes place, Ezekiel 9 is going to take place. The Most High is going to get rid of the wheat and the tares. The wheat and the tares. He's going to get rid of the tares, not the wheat. But the tares, he's going to get rid of the tares, the Dardanelles. He's going to get rid of them. So all this belly aching we doing about being in slavery is really belly aching against the command of the Most High. The will of the Most High. It really is. But we don't know that. We don't know that. So I'm going to play this for you all. We're going to get this started. Hopefully it'll play. I might have to restart this thing. So yeah, Jeremiah told the kings, the priests, all the Bible teachers, Jeremiah told all the One West camps of his day. He said, when Nebuchadnezzar come, don't fight against him. So you know what that means, right? You know what that means, right? Don't be so when you go into captivity and you get in Babylon, don't go stand on the corner and start talking about the fall of Babylon. Oh, you didn't see that coming, did you? You didn't see that one coming, did you? Don't say death to Babylon when you get in Babylon. And so the same thing is today, y'all. When we went to the land of America, we're not supposed to be saying death to America. We're not supposed to be stepping on the American flag. Now, I draw the line at saying the Pledge of Allegiance. And I might be wrong on that. But I draw the line there. draw the line on that. But certainly we shouldn't be stepping on the flag, you know, saying crazy stuff, incendiary, making incendiary statements. The Most High is the one who brought us here. He brought us here and he wanted us to be humble slaves of all these Caucasian people that are ruling over us. Now, we're not supposed to let these people abuse us. Now, don't get it twisted. Okay? You know, I was just sitting here thinking, and I was wondering if Daniel, did he say the Pledge of Allegiance? I was just sitting here thinking about that. I wonder if he said the Pledge of Allegiance. And the golden image is something else. Well, the golden image was like a Pledge of Allegiance. The golden image was like a prayer of allegiance. But that's something to think about, you know. So let me get this here. Okay, I think we're good to go now. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, what's going on?
Is making government so smart. Because one of the big impacts of this, and there was a study by the New York Times that showed that like by 2027, like there's going to be a lot of middle income people who are going, because of this bill, see a tax increase. So it's not really even a tax cut. And then you have to understand how this is going to impact. I would say our lives and those around us, we don't really realize how intimately connected we are as a result of our lack of wealth. Frame it for those people that haven't seen one of our videos before. The data just is what it is. I did a piece with Matt Brunig, pulling it up now. You should go check it out. And what I displayed is that the middle black family, as of the new data that just came out of the Federal Reserve, is worth $4,000 without the family car. If you were to
y'all heard that? The middle black family is worth $4,000, and that's without the car. Without the car and the couch in the dining room set, the middle black family is worth $4,000, y'all. Do y'all know what that means? If the middle black family is worth only $4,000, what is the 25 percentile family worth? And let me tell you something, y'all. The middle black family is the poor white family. Did you know that? The middle black family is the poor white family. So we way behind. And we supposed to. We're in captivity. We're being punished. and beat.
Take out other depreciating assets like the TV and the clothes and everything, you're probably back down to $1,500–1,700.
Okay, so that was with the car. That was with the car in the crank couch. So, wow. And let me tell you something. A lot of this data, the $4,000, guess what some of that is? Credit card loans, y'all. The middle black family worth $4,000. Y'all, that ain't nothing.
So I've been saying it for now a year. That's not enough. What has made it enough is having government. And I think that we don't really understand that, and we're about to understand that very, very soon. And when you look at white America,
you know, so he's going to give you the numbers for white America. But one of the things that's really interesting about this is that when we see black people with a Cadillac, or we see them with a Lexus or a Benz, we think they made it. But if they're in the hood driving a Benz, y'all, in the neighborhood that I live in, most of the people drive cars that cost more than their house, 3 times as much as their house. That's what we do. That's that ghetto rich. And we see them go get in a car and we be like, wow, ooh. And they're not even middle. They're not even the middle black family. They had a $30,000 car. And they're not even middle black family. So I think black celebrities and white media has brainwashed us into believing that we're doing better than what we are. Because everybody keep throwing around that number, that 1 trillion. We got $1 trillion in spending power. We spend $1,000, $1 trillion every year. Y'all, nobody base their strength on how much they spend. They don't do that for no other country, but they do it for us. And guess what we do? We eat it up. We celebrate it. We tattoo it, write it in the sky. And let me tell you something. That $1 trillion, I wouldn't be surprised if 3/4 of that $1 trillion is, guess what? It's debt. It's debt. It's debt. I bet you half of that is debt. It's credit. That's all it is, y'all. You know, we're gonna have to start seeing past the smoke and mirrors, y'all. Because this is impacting us as individuals and families. And it's causing us to break Torah. It's causing us to break the commandments.
Family's worth 140, you know, top 10% worth $1 million,
Now,
worth $1 million or more. Top, they have 1 million families.
Now you see that? The middle white family is worth $140,000. Wow. The middle black family is worth $4,000. Y'all hear that? Y'all, and it's so sad that Yvette Carnell and this guy Antonio Moore, they know all this data and they still think that politics is going to get us where we need to go. It's like, wow, when your darkness has really become, your light has become darkness, it really does become great darkness, gross darkness. So they think that the solution to this problem is a politic body, a black politic body. Ain't, please. And then on top of that, they don't know that the Most High got it this way. The Most High is not going to let us get above these people. He's not going to let us get above these people. Now, when you look at Daniel, in Daniel chapter 5, the Most High was going to let Daniel get above most people in the kingdom. Matter of fact, Daniel had an opportunity twice to become the second person in the kingdom and the third person in the kingdom. Why? Because he was faithful to the Most High. And the second time he got the offer, guess what happened? He turned it down. He didn't want it. Wow. That's how much he loved the Most High. That's how much he kept the Torah. That's how much he knew that he couldn't stand on the corner and say, death to Babylon.
I guess I want to.
Or 10 million or more, they're much better suited to be able to deal with the immediate impacts of this devastating bill or set of bills at this point. You know, Trump, the bill passed the House, maybe I think about, and then just last night it passed the Senate. And what it effectively does is it cuts taxes for the rich, and eventually, this is what people don't understand. It's a concept called starving the beast, which essentially is two steps to this. You don't have enough to actually budget for the programs that poor and middle income families need to access the American dream. So the next step of this is we're going to see drastic cuts in Medicaid.
And let me say this too, for you Israelites out there that don't think you're poor, I'll tell you something, you poor. I want to tell you poor. And I want to give you a good example and prove you poor. If you don't have a trillion dollars, and you don't have a standing army to protect it, and 5 more people that have $1 trillion, guess what? You're poor. If you got anything less than $1 trillion and a standing army to protect you and the people, the 7 other people that got $1 trillion, y'all poor. You're poor. You're vulnerable. Okay? See, if you got $1 million, if you got $1 billion, you ain't got no standing army, no special forces, no security force. You can't wage war, and you don't own a central bank in several different countries. Guess what? You poor. And I'm going to say it, and let's say you got all of that. Let's say you got a standing army and all that, but the Most High is not with you, and you're an Israelite. You're poor. You're poor. You're poor. Poverty is not just money, y'all. Poverty is having the Most High on your side. Because even if you got a standing army and the Most High is not with you, you're going to lose. If you are in America and you are, say, Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry, and y'all team up, guess what? You still poor. You know why? Look what they doing to Bill Cosby. Look what they about to do to Russell Simmons. Have no protection. Let me tell you something. The more money you have in America as a so-called black person, the more money you have in America, you are, and the more vulnerable you are. You can't be under the radar. You can't. First of all, black people not gonna let you be under the radar. Your family is not gonna let you be under the radar. And the bank you got your money in is gonna put you on the radar. You're vulnerable. You're vulnerable. You have no way to protect yourself. The only protection you have if you're a wealthy Israelite or a wealthy black person is the Most High. That's it. Especially if you're wealthy. Because most of our people, I mean, the Bible says that we stupid. And most of our people, if we get a huge sum of money, guess what we're going to put it in? We're going to put it in white institutions. We're going to put it in banks, mutual funds, stocks, bonds, CDs, 401ks. We're going to put it in all that kind of stuff. We're going to alert everybody that we got money. We're going to alert all the money enemies that we got money. Give it to them to invest so they could put their kids through school. Because the interest and the things that they do with the money, the Ponzi schemes that they run in their institution, like banks, they're going to put their kids through school. They're going to loan out your money. They're going to get interest on it. They're going to make car loans with it, house loans, business loans with it. They're going to put their kids through school with it. And guess what? You're going to keep it from your family. You're going to keep it from your family because you love white mommy and white daddy. You're going to put several generations of children through college, school. You're going to buy them homes and all, supply money for them to have home loans and car loans and everything. That's what a black person is going to do if they get a whole bunch of money. A whole bunch of money, like millions or billions. Yeah, that's what they're going to do with money. They're going to give it to white mommy and daddy. And they're going to tell their people to pull themselves up by their own bootstrap. Money don't belong to you. That's what they're going to say. That's what they're going to say. The only thing they got to give. They ain't got nothing else in life to give because they really don't care nothing about their people. So what they're going to do is that. That's what they're going to do. That's how we roll, y'all. That's how we roll. We're good slaves. We still have a slave mentality when it comes to our people.
Drastic cuts in food stamps, drastic cuts in rental assistance. And you got to look around as a black person to understand the people you know and love.
That's something I want to say too. See, you know, the Bible says, you know, you pass from death unto life when you love the brethren. When a person loves you, they want to see you excel, thrive, feel your dreams. Loves you, that's what they want to do. They're going to be interested in those things. When you come home from the hospital and they know you was in the hospital, they're going to say, you know, how is everything? That's what they're going to, when they love you, that's what they do. They're not going to act like, oh, they'll call you, see how you doing. If they're righteous and not wicked, especially if they feel that, especially if the family member has an advantage that you don't have, and they really love you, guess what? They're going to reach out to you. They're not going to just say they love you and make you sick by telling you that, because you know you know what I'm saying? But don't think that these tax cut is not going to hurt everybody. These tax cut going to hurt people, in all black people in every economic strata, rich and poor. Because when you have tax cut like this, guess what? People are going to lose jobs, programs are going to be cut, and guess what? People are going to be knocking on your door. Things are going to be less safe for you. Not necessarily because of your family members, but just because in general, crime is going to go up and everything. You see? But listen to this.
Using these programs in one way or another, and now they won't be stable, and they definitely won't be stable enough for you to have those high and buy conversations that kind of grounded your psyche and made you think everything was normal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, Yvette?
Right.
Repair Clinic makes fixing
Commercial.
things easy with millions of replacement parts available.
Yeah, well, one of the things you talk about starving the beach, you gotta remember it was that, you know, horrible person, Grover North.
Starving the beast simply means the social programs. That's all starving the beast means. Okay, starving the beast just simply means underfunding or not funding at all the social program and cutting a lot of social programs. As slaves in this society, we need the social programs. It don't matter if you are on them directly or not. There are people in your family that need these social programs. Healthcare.
Who said, you know, I want to make government small enough that I can kill it in a bathtub. Right, so what
hey,
they're
baby,
doing is making government so small.
Where,
because
did Just Real meet you?
Impacts of this, and there was a study by the New York Times
Where's
that showed like by 2027, like there are going to be a lot of middle income.
You're supposed to be looking for your sister when she come home.
You don't see a tax increase, so it's not really.
Son, she come home every day.
You have to understand how this is going to impact. We're talking about state and local governments who are going to get robbed because
son, it's the same time.
And how much you get from as African Americans from state and local government. I think one of the things that we have failed to understand as Black people is how much of our lives is put together through patchwork. So what do I mean? Well, you can't afford, you get some WIC, right? And then at the end of the year, and I know you're going to talk about this specifically, you know, in terms of tax credits, the tax credits being based on adjusted gross income. So you're doing all this stuff in all these different spaces. And this is, you know, especially for working class Black people, which is almost all Black people. You're putting your life together with this patchwork that includes, if not government programs, tax subsidies, stuff like that, tax credit, all of that, non-refundable.
Yeah, and let me say this too. Don't think that just tax reform is just dealing with social programs. Tax reform is also dealing with people who go to work every day. Okay? So this is gonna hurt you. When they make these tax reform, it hurts everybody. All Israelites, y'all.
All of that. And what you're doing is you're seeing Republicans snatch that. And not only are they snatching that, they're saying the alternative minimum tax is gone. They're saying it's a state tax. All the stuff, the money that we were getting from rich people, to say, even though it wasn't enough considering income inequality and how much rich people have gotten, and we haven't gotten anything. Don't forget the wages have been stagnant. Black people in this country for more than 30 years. All of the money's going to the top. And now they don't even have to give us taxes. They don't even have to really pay tax on the money that they get. So you get everything. You say, I don't owe America or Americans or the government anything. And you have to understand that guts the Black community.
So talking about the major components of this bill, you have a reduction in the corporate tax rate, change in the way that we see deductions, where essentially the personal exemption, which is also the exemption used for dependents, is deleted. We just have like kind of a flat kind of deduction. Don't get me wrong, there is a slight uptick for head of household, but it's not enough to offset. You have a reduction of the tax bracket from 7 to 4. You have a repeal of the estate tax. You have a cap on the mortgage interest. To say it for that Black, you know, single mother, you move, if you're, you know, to put it, I'm going to use an example later on to kind of explain it, but a Black single mother of 3, let's just say, to deduct around $25,000 off of her gross, that's what you took to the tax table. Well, under this new system, there is no increase as you get more children. There's just 18. So you just take 18 off of your 40, and you just add 22. That's a huge jump in what your tax rate is.
I think, and I kind of agree with the mortgage interest. It was just being taken advantage of by people with a lot of house. But in terms of what you have to do in terms of understanding it, understand that this isn't about tax as much as this is about restructuring the economy. This is about restructuring who gets what and when. And you hear Republicans say, one of the things that happened, you have to remember when Obama did the bailout, there was all this talk about how this was going to be great for like regular people, and these companies were going to start these banks.
That's a good thing she's bringing up. Obama with the bailout thing. Now, you had upwards to 95% of our people vote for Obama. Everybody voted for Obama. Let me tell you. Hold on. You had Christians voting for Obama, Muslims, Black Muslims voting for Obama, Hebrew Israelites voted for Obama. All kind of people voted for Obama. And guess what he did? Fell out. And you remember what they said, and she's about to address it. They said it was going to trickle down, right? Please. It didn't trickle down at all. It didn't trickle down. And we voted for Obama twice. Twice. I think Yvette Carnell voted for him twice. Against Obama. I know she did it at least once. Now, Antonio Moore, I don't know. I know he had to do it at least once too. Because a black president, that was just too powerful. I don't care how much you're against Obama. Now, I'm going to tell you who didn't vote for him. None. Me. I didn't vote for him one time. I saw that coming a mile away. I said, man, please. And I wasn't even an Israelite. I said, are you serious? Black people running around talking about, I remember those black people was running around talking about Obama. Man, please, man, let me tell you something. Things about to get, I said, man, the world's probably about to end if there's a black president. I said, whatever he does is going to hurt us. That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. Okay? I say it's going to hurt us. And we've seen more shootings from a black president under a black president's watch than we ever seen. Even his own friend got roughed up by some police officers at his own crib. You remember when they had that beer summit? So it looks like, look at this, y'all. You have all these Israelites vote for Obama, 95%. So the Most High said, oh, okay, so that's the king you want, huh? Oh, okay. So the Most High let our enemies start blowing our brains out. And you think we would learn on the first time that Obama run? No, we didn't. We voted for him again. And guess what? The shootings went up even more. More people was getting shot. So the Most High is trying to let us know that we need to repent. He didn't put us here for to build some monstrous black political body and do hurrahs over having a black president. Our deliverance is not going to come from having no black president. We're not going to get any reprieve from having a black president or a black mayor. We're not. Or a black fire chief or a black attorney general. That's not what we're here for. We're here to repent. And so, but instead of what we do, the Most High gives us this belt. He beats us with this white belt. And guess what we do? We fall in love with the belt. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We fall in love with the belt. We start shellacking the belt. Oil on the belt. Carving, putting fancy pictures on the belt, engraving it. Dressing the belt up. That's the stuff black people do. Y'all, America is not our home. It don't belong to us. The Bible says we're supposed to be turning our face towards Zion. Zion, we're supposed to be turning our face to, lifting up our hands and praying to Zion. Come on. Not to no black political body. Jesse Jackson, National Action Network, Rainbow Coalition. We're not supposed to be praying to that stuff. That's the stuff that's got us in slavery.
Start loaning and, infuse the economy with money. And what you found is they just gave it to themselves. There is not going to be some infusion. They have this whole tax repatriation thing. So, well, people can bring back money that they stashed overseas for lower rates, and that's part of this tax plan. Yeah, they're going to bring it back, and they're going to pocket it, and it's going to go to CEOs and shareholders and some upper level executives. This is not something. When you see something in a tax bill that says this goes for pass through, or this goes to people who are bringing money back from overseas. When you hear language like that, and when you hear terms that you don't understand, like pass through, when you hear that, you know it ain't about you. And you know that this bill don't have nothing to do with helping me. Like, that's how you have to know that. When they start talking about stuff that doesn't even relate to you, that you've never heard of, it's not going to help you at all. And if it's not going to help you, it's going to hurt you. Like, these are just keys. I'm not talking, these are just clues that I think people need to understand who this is for. Anytime you see a bill, understand when you see those phrases, that foreign income, who it doesn't apply to me. And it apply, that means it benefits somebody else, somebody much richer than you.
And the last time we saw this kind of like tax policy of sorts was under Reagan, where we saw trickle down, and Reagan blighted the black community. I did a documentary I've mentioned to you guys before. I just interviewed Freeway Rick.
That's something to really pay attention to, y'all. Whenever any type of policy in the United States is being passed, whether it's educational, fiscal, or social, and it hurts us, y'all, that's the Most High trying to give us a wake-up call. That's the Most High tightening down the screws. That's the Most High using that white belt to whack you on the behind. But we don't pay attention to these type of things. We don't pay attention to these type of things because we're so spiritual. No attention to this type of thing. We don't pay attention to policies and taxes and all that kind of stuff. But the reason why these social programs are going to be cut is because the Most High wants us to repent. The reason why this tax reform is going to hurt us, I don't want us to be Americans. He wants us to be repenting and penitent Israelites. That's what the Most High wants.
Ross last night, who's at the center of this, but is not the whole story, on my radio show. Check that out on my YouTube channel. But my documentary, Freeway Cracking the System, was about this Reaganomics, this trickle down. And again, that the concept is you cut taxes drastically market because big business will invest greatly in small people. And we know that we're now in a time of extreme wealth inequality. So we can only imagine what extreme wealth inequality with trickle down actually means for Americans at large, but particularly the African American race. I believe.
Let me tell you how much inequality there is. Let me give you an idea of the inequality that he's speaking of. Richest families in the United States own more land than all African Americans combined. The 5 richest families in the United States own 90% agricultural land in the United States. And black people, all of us combined, we own only 1%. When you own 1% of land, guess what? You don't even have land to build a company. You don't have land to do nothing when you only own 1%. You got to buy land from those families that own 90% of the land. So trying to be the top dog in America is not biblical. It's against Torah. That's not the reason why the Most High put us in slavery. So we become the richest slaves in America. Because that's all you're going to be anyway.
That we're on the cusp of the day is over for the big refunds. You know, the big refund checks and that have basically patched, as Yvette said, it patched African Americans together are going to not be so big. I'm not saying you won't get a refund, no, but I'm saying it might be in the $3,000, $4,000 range rather than that $9,000 range. And the thing is, when you add it all up, as I'll show towards the middle of this conversation, it's a swing in the quality of life for so many blacks in the sweet spot of Black America.
Exactly.
Whether it be somebody that's a mother of two making 70,
right,
a mother of three, making 35 or 40 in Louisville. I don't think we really understand. Another thing this tax bill does is it rewards marriage. And so, like, you just have a whole shift in the way that Black America.
So you heard that, right? The tax bill, it rewards marriage. Well, that kills our people because we don't get married. We don't believe in that, boy. It kills marriage. So if the tax cuts are going to incentivize marriage, well, Black folk, we're facing some hard times. We don't want to get married. We don't want to get married. We don't love our women. We don't love our men. We don't love our children. We don't. We don't get married like that. You know what kind of crime that's going to breed? Oh, he's not. He's not. He's not the worker. He not. I'm the one that's
constructed for over 30.
I'm the one that's aware.
5 years over one night, like over the course of a month with this new bill that goes into place. And I just say people need to get prepared. As they can.
I mean, when you see a bill, what 80?
Let me say this. This is something that I've been thinking about. I think things are going to get really hard. I really do. All this people got their own apartment and stuff like that. That stuff going to stop. Y'all going to be doubling and tripling up. And I know Black people don't like doing that. I know that. But you're going to have to do it. I can't tell you how many people that I talked to and met this year that are now homeless. I can't tell you. I would say I can't tell you how many people have went homeless. And I can't tell you how many people are having such a hard time that they're considering living in their car. I can't tell you. Y'all, it's a lot, man, a lot of people are really having a hard time. Now, y'all with jobs and everything, y'all don't know. But y'all, us are one paycheck away from being homeless. When you consider that the middle Black family is only worth $4,000 with the car. That's with the car. With the car. Y'all, things are tight. And look at what they're doing look what they're about to do with education. It looks like they're about to tax. They're going to tax education. The student loans, ooh, boy, it's about to get, ooh, boy. You already can't find a job after you get those degrees. You already can't pay that loan. And guess what? They're going to tax it even more. Y'all, this thing is getting ugly. So this is one of the things I thought about. Now, I have a home. My home is paid for. All of us live here. As long as everybody go by my rules, they can stay here. Matter of fact, I raise my children that way. You can marry and stay here. That's how bad things are going to get. But I think that just in case something pop off where you live at, I think you should own a travel trailer. I used to live in a travel trailer. A travel trailer. Even if it's only 12 feet. Even if it's only a 12-foot. I used to live in a 12-foot travel trailer. Man, I was, ooh, boy, that thing, I love that thing. I love that thing. I remember when I was single, I used to live in my car. And that was horrible. Then I bought a van. And then I bought a travel trailer. Man, that travel trailer was the bomb. It only cost me $1,000. And I found a place to park the thing. So what I'm saying is you should have a travel trailer and keep it stocked. Have you a little generator, some little solar panels, and just stock it up with canned foods. And have a truck to pull that thing. So if anything ever pop off, now they might catch you, but guess what? At least you can move around and still got a place to lay your head until they catch you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If anything jump off, guess what? You can get in your travel trailer. It's already stocked. You got your propane, extra propane. And you just drive. You got your water and everything. Canned food is already stocked up in it. Toiletries, things for cleaning. You can store all that stuff in your travel trailer. You get travel trailers for cheap, y'all. $1,000. Sometimes people just give them away. The one that I had, a lady almost just gave it to me. I did a little bit of work and she gave it to me. I did a little bit of work for her. She just wanted to get rid of the thing. Thing was nice. Sleep 7 people. Had a stove, a refrigerator. You might have to do some repairs. But I'm just saying, if something happened, and then even if something don't happen, you can use it for camping. You can use it for camping. They are awesome, y'all. Everybody should own a travel trailer. Everybody should own a travel trailer. If my children ever move away from here, I don't care where they live at. I want to say, get you a little 12-foot travel trailer and stock it up with food, water, and all kind of stuff. Some guns, some ammo, throw your stuff in your travel trailer, hook it up to your truck, and get out of Dodge. Get you a little a radio, shortwave radio, wind up shortwave radio, and get you all kind of little stuff you can store in that thing. But yeah.
The tax cuts go to the top 1%. I think that bill isn't for you. And so one of the things that's bothersome for me is that you have all these people in the United States Senate who are half dead. I'm talking octogenarians, you 70, 80, 90 years old. You looking at Conyers who's having to, is probably going to be forced to step down if he hasn't already. I haven't seen the news today that because of these allegations. But you're 88 and you allegedly arrived somewhere one day with your pajamas on. You should have been gone. But you got all these people. You know, although I support him and I support the reparations bill, and I want to
his pajamas.
Up,
wow.
you have a bunch of old people, and he's in the South. He's in the House, but in the Senate, it's mostly old people. It's a millionaires club, and you have all the millionaires deciding that all this money is going to get robbed from young people and go to the top 1% and to a lesser extent, the top 10%, top 20%. That's what they're telling you. And they won't even be around to see the repercussions. That's number one. Number two, let me say this. I think part of the problem is we can't say that nobody.
See, the problem with Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore's worldview is, see, they think that they are part of America. They really think that they part of America, you know, of this apparatus here. They don't know that they're slaves, just like we are. They don't know that. And so when they speak, they always speak in terms of, you know, you got all these rich guys and rich white guys and all this kind of stuff at the top. And she says it as if, you know, this stuff should belong to all of us. No, it shouldn't. We're slaves. We're slaves. We're slaves, okay? And the reason why politics hasn't addressed this, black politic body hasn't addressed this, because black politic body is a slave hand.
Understand, Senator Jeff Flake got assurances that undocumented immigrants, DACA, that the DACA, you know, those kids, the dreamers, he got assurances that they would be protected as part of this bill. Now, African Americans, we got no assurances as part of this bill. We don't have anybody advocating for us as a group. But he advocated for basically what's going to lead to another amnesty as part of this text.
And let me address that. The reason why we don't have anybody advocating for us, because guess what? They're going to try to do it as an American. And the Most High don't want a Israelite to masquerade as an American to try to help black Americans. He don't want that. Black politicians and black organizations and black civic organizations and all of this kind of stuff and civil rights organizations and all that kind of stuff. And they are controlled opposition, paid opposition. That's what they are, y'all. I want to tell you the type of politicians we need. Politician like Daniel. See, Daniel was a far cry from a Jesse Jackson. See, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were not, no, they knew that, hey, I'm here, I'm a slave, all right, and I'm part of the cabinet of Nebuchadnezzar. So they could be real strong advocates for their people. We have today, they are black Americans and all this kind of stuff. And see, the Most High just cursing that stuff. He's got a curse on black American politicians. He don't want us to be that. He wants us to be Daniels. He wants us to be Josephs. See, Joseph was a far cry from a Jesse Jackson. Joseph was a far cry from an Al Sharpton, Conyers, Stokely Carmichael. See, those are the type of people that we need. We need that are rooted in who and know who they are and whose they are, why they're here in America, and now you can be an advocate. That's why Barack Obama is a failure for us. He's not us. And even if he was us, he's still not an Israelite. He don't have an Israelite mindset. He ain't gonna advocate for us as Israelites. He gonna advocate for us as Americans. And he didn't even do that. He didn't even do that. But if he ran again, you have Hebrew Israelites even voting for Obama again.
At least they got something.
And that's what, and you know what's interesting about what you're saying is there's this belief in Black America, not only that we don't need government, but that we can't affect politics. And I think that we don't understand that Devos got something for one school. One school.
So this is the problem that I have with Yvette Carnell and Tone Talk's worldview. Their worldview is we need politics. Yeah, we need government. Yeah, we need government because we're slaves here. So you got to know. See, when Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore talk about you need government, they're right. We do need government. Israelites do need government because we're slaves here. But how we need it, and this is where I part ways with Antonio Moore and Yvette Carnell, because they don't know that they're Israelites. They know they're Israelites, and because they know that they don't know they're Israelites, they need government. That we really don't need government because we are slaves here. Our Elohim put us here to serve these people.
That she's associated with. That everybody balked at last night. It was one of the things that hung up like the bill towards the end. I don't think we understand how policy actually has space for a group that's situated like we are, that's owed so much through reparations and the things of the sort. And we haven't seen it in a lifetime. So we don't understand our lives sit on the very bones of utilizing the reality of Black struggle and where Black struggle actually comes from to receive the advantage that allows us to be American. I kind of see this bill as a way, we've been
See, we're going to have to understand why the reason, and this is what Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore don't understand. Why? What about this Black struggle? What about this quote Black struggle? Where does it really come from? I want to tell you where it comes from. The Black struggle really comes from when we were in our own land in Israel. Guess what we did? We worshiped other gods. We wanted to be like all the other nations. We wanted to marry their heathen women, worshiping their false gods. We wanted to be more like them than want them to be like us. And that started the Black struggle, so-called Black struggle. So now Antonio Moore and Yvette Carnell, they think that what's going to solve it now, since the milk is spilled, government. No, your enemies are not going to solve your problems. Why would they do it anyway? Really? Why would your enemies want to solve your problems? They're the ones that's causing them. Well, I won't say it's causing them. I don't believe that. We caused our own problems by breaking the commandments of our Elohim. So this is what's wrong with this worldview. It's a house of cards, y'all. It's a glass house ready to be destroyed.
Out for some years now, but I see this bill as a coffin closing moment, and I don't think people are going to understand till it's very, very immediate upon them that they can't afford anything anymore. They can't.
There you go. Now we're talking the worker one. The Most High is going to give us our reparations. Exactly. The Most High is going to give us our reparation. That's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, peace from Kalamazoo. Okay, Kalamazoo. Exactly. The Most High is going to give. They couldn't give us our reparations anyway, y'all. If they gave us the world, it wouldn't be enough. Enough, y'all? The stuff that they done to us, it wouldn't be enough. That's why the Bible says, "I have not seen, ear have not heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things that the Most High has prepared for them that love him and keep his commandments." Now, if they give some, if they try to give reparations, I'm not going to look at it as reparations. I'm going to look at it as a little stipend. I don't care how much it is. I look at it as a stipend. Our reparations come from the Most High, y'all. He's the only one that can, what? 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and seek my face. See, Antonio Moore and Yvette Carnell, they're not seeking the face of the Most High. They're seeking the face of the federal government. They want white mommy and white daddy's face. And see, that's the curse.
For it to be here. The patchwork that made up their life of tax exemptions, child deductions, everybody, you know, for a lot of people that's not in the hood, they don't know how these child deductions are traded. And they don't know all of the reality of, will you take in your niece or your nephew if you don't get a deduction?
Exactly.
Will you take in, well, you know, they don't understand like the reality of taking somebody from deducting 30,000 off their age, off their gross to 18, and how that is going to be utilized by the Republicans to actually increase the amount of people that can't qualify for other programs. Because now they're going to slash programs at the same time and increase the amount of age, decrease the amount of adjusted gross that you need to have, so you'll be right above the boundary line. Wow. In addition, what I also saw, I'm gonna pull it up now, is,
see, all of that, what he's talking about right there is the Most High tightening up the screws on Israel. But we don't never catch on to nothing. We just think it's just the government and, you know, just taxes is high. No, the Most High is trying to get us to repent. That's why the taxes is high. That's why we're losing our jobs. That's why homelessness is on the rise. Tent cities are going berserk in California. Us to repent, but we won't do it. When we lose our homes and all this kind of stuff, we look for the face of government. We don't look for the face of the Most High.
Article that went as far as to say that the earned income credit, while it's not being touched, there's a whole nother discussion they're not talking about where it will trigger an automatic audit.
Whoa.
So once you request the earned income, there'll be and they call it a semi-automatic audit, but it's an audit nonetheless. So not only are they dealing with one side of things, they're dealing with the whole thing. So, you know, that audit will deal with, is your income real? And so we come to this reality of tax reform, and we're experiencing it. I'm pulling up a chart now, experiencing it in the middle of extreme income inequality. This chart, I've shown it to Yvette, it's on my Facebook, came from an article written on LinkedIn by Mr. Diallo, who's one of the richest Americans. And this chart, if you look at the circles, we're in the circles. So the last time we saw trickle down, we were actually during the spread part. And what this chart shows is that the share of wealth that the bottom 90 has versus the share of wealth that the 0.1% has. Also, where we had the same share of wealth was during the Depression. We don't understand where we're at right now in the precarious situation we're in, and how this tax reform is a tango step that we're not ready to dance. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Yvette?
Right.
Well, yeah, I think, and Puerto Rico.
I'm an adventure photographer. Photography really suits my lifestyle. I like to be on my own terms, go where I want, when I want.
Part of the reason that you say we're not ready to dance is because we're not really paying attention. I just don't think, I think the people who watch us are paying attention, because part of the reason they watch us is because they're concerned about politics. But you have a larger Black community that is either one, not paying attention, Or you have the people like what happened earlier on your page, on your Facebook page, who are like, well, we just got to learn the loopholes and see. And you don't understand, income equality means that these people have taken everything, and that's going to be your inability to compete because they've taken all incentives, all credit. Anything that would allow you to get a leg up, and they have everything. Like, how are you going to? This is not a mom and pop era anymore. And I bring this up all the time.
Yeah.
Walmart is in trouble competing with Amazon. So you saying I can go start an LLC and I can play this game on that level? No, these people are anything that you could have ever used to play that game has been taken. That's what.
So much of this is a reevaluation of race. You know, we're gonna have another video on Yvette's page. Check it out about Meghan Markle and biracial as a category. But what's interesting is we don't understand how complete blackness shuts you out because we just lived through a window. That window was created through civil rights, through voting rights, through a lot of pushing. We came up with a whole nother set of Meghan Markle, Tracy Ellis Ross, Obama type people that look like us but have not advocated for us. And then we don't advocate for ourselves. So what you end up is in this space where you need everything and you ask for nothing. Forget that. You demand nothing like you're not owed anything.
Let me say this. The type of advocacy we need is not the type that he thinks. The type of advocacy he's talking about is the type of advocacy that from Obama, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Martin Luther King. That's the kind of advocacy that most black people are looking for. But the type of advocacy we need is the type of advocacy that Queen Esther gave. Mordecai. See, you see where I'm coming from? You see, that's the type of advocacy we need in this captivity. And when you have people like that are your advocates, they're gonna know that they're not there for, just for political wranglings. They're gonna know that political wranglings is something that you're gonna have to deal with because you're a part of the political structure of that country. But they're gonna know, hey, I'm an Israelite first. I'm an Israelite first. So they are going to have the wisdom from the Most High on how to navigate the tax penalties and things such as that. They're going to know how to advocate like Moses did. A successful negotiator for us because he killed the guy and had to flee. But anyway, you get what you still get what I'm coming from. All the people that I'm mentioning to you, guess what? They knew they was Israelites. The Achilles heel of black people, and it shows that we are not ready to worship our Elohim, even as Israelites, is that we still think that these black leaders that we got, Israelites, are going to be able to advocate for us as Israelites. No, they're not. You might stop it. Stop it. They're causing the noose to tighten.
And I think for a lot of black folks, the introduction to blackness will be so sudden that it might drive them into a craze. Because what they're going to do is essentially, if you look at one element of this, they're starting to tax scholarship. So like you're in graduate school and school is paid for, PhD program is paid for, $40,000 PhD program. You get through your PhD program with $20,000 of working and pitching work together, Uber driving, whatever you're doing. Well, they're saying that you don't make $20,000 when you got to do your taxes. You make $60,000, the 40 from the graduate program. Is go home. PhD ain't for you. Your class doesn't get to do a PhD. It's not just about saying it's going to be more. It's creating a caste where we have and have-nots.
Right.
We have people separated, and it's more clearly delineated who gets to have dreams and who doesn't. Dream Hoarders, the book, is real. To the top of the
and another Achilles heel of our people is the dream we have. See, we got that American dream. The Most High has a curse on the American dream for Israelite. He does. Look at the history that we have being in this country. The more we grasp for the American dream and not the dream of going back to our homeland, the more the Most High curses that dream. The more he curses it. For us.
Where the top 20%, pulling the book up again, have all the dreams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think what you're talking about is kind of a form of neo-feudalism. You know, when we look at all the paintings and all the philosophy, a lot of those philosophers and things like that, they existed because they had somebody who was kind of their patron, somebody who paid their way to do things. It's going to become the case. I mean, think about it. You and I have talked about Devos, talking about, and I've seen articles about this now, where they're talking about virtual school, where you do charter school through like a virtual class, right? And they're pushing it now like, well, some kids, you can't go to school. So what they're going to do after that is basically say, well, this was so successful in our pilot programs.
Wait, be specific. Be specific about that, what they're saying.
Now, let me tell you something. They're trying, exactly. They're not only trying to push you out of university, they're not only trying to push Israelites out of universities, Israelites out of grammar school and high schools too, by having schools at home. Guess what I see in this? I see the Most High don't want us in these schools no more. So now he's turning up the heat to get us out of these schools and bring our behinds home, where we should have been in the first place. We shouldn't have been in no public schools. We shouldn't have been in their universities either. So they're tightening up the screws, because the Most High is tightening up the screws. These schools to get us back home and get our families together. But guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna go march in the street and cry about we can't go to their schools. So we're gonna fight against the Most High even on that too.
It is like in some rural areas, they don't have access to school. So what we're gonna do is give them all their curriculum online and not provide a school, a physical school at home. But the problem is we, as Black folk particularly, have been using school as daycare while we go to work. So imagine a society that we shift to, possibly, where they give you your curriculum, say that's worth $8,000 or $9,000 in the tax, because that's what they pay for a school right now for your kid. And then they don't offer you a physical school. Your kid just got to be at home learning on their own.
What you're saying is imagine if what's happening.
You see how he's talking about that? He's talking about that like that's a horror story. And your kids got to be at home. You heard how he said that? And your kids, the ones you birthed in the world that you love, they got to be at home with you. Horrible. Ah, boy, I'm telling you. The Most High trying to get your kids home with you, and you think it's a horror story. Wow.
That school is extended. And who do you think is going to be extended to first? Who do you think is going to get those virtual schools first? It's going to be African Americans. Because what they're telling you is that, listen, ain't no more jobs, so ain't no more school. And because you don't need to be here, and you're on the bottom, you're part of a caste system, so you don't have a real tax base either. Because remember, white flight, all the factories and everything left where we live and went to suburbia. And now they're living in suburbia, and they're going to Mexico. But the truth of the matter is, they're telling us, listen, they're telling us that you are on the bottom caste. You don't get to go to school. What you going to school for? So you can become an Uber driver? But we think that we're trying to find an escape hatch. Well, I can just feel I don't need school. I need a business. I can start a business. I can do this. I can do that. Because we're looking at life through like Jay-Z or something, as opposed to being like, I have to politically oppose this because this means no future for my children.
And what's the trip is, I did the piece with Matt Grunig. I pulled it up earlier, but Matt also get a chart for me, a chart that shows our nation by percentile. It was done just for me, and essentially, I've shared it with Yvette. What you don't understand is that when you say, well, there's poor whites, middle black is equivalent to poor white.
Right.
On the chart.
Right.
So the middle black family has the 50th percentile black family that's worth $4,000 until the 20th percentile white family. And understand they have 83 million homes.
Right.
And we have about 20 million. So they have a whole bunch of stable American homes that are worth more than 350, more than 500, more than $1 million, more than 10 million. We don't have that reality.
No, we ain't got that.
We have a nominal, out of 20 million black homes, there are only 380,000 that are worth a single million or more.
Wow.
That's the pension and the house in LA. And what you realize is that that person has family immediately around them that now will be struggling and will be asking / demanding help. So that person will be anchored down as well.
Right.
This is so all encompassing, this tax reform. Right. I don't think that everybody's ready for it.
No.
You know, Pastor Cosby is one of our good friends. I've talked to him ad nauseum about this, and I said the one thing that you need to do, because everybody asks us for solutions, prepare yourself mentally that it's okay. It's okay if you lose your job. It's okay if you can't pay for your kids to go to college. Have that conversation with yourself first so you can have it with the rest of the world. This idea that you can form an LLC, like I saw, and take advantage of some of these loopholes is absolutely insane. Many black people aren't even bankable, meaning they can't get bank accounts. They can't get bank accounts because they've lived the life of tragedy that comes out of blackness. And I don't think how you understand that business accounts require a certain amount of capital. And business accounts require a certain amount of history, especially now. They don't just give them out like tokens anymore, where you go down to Bank of America and just get a business account. It's complicated now because they don't treat them like personal accounts. The other thing we don't understand is the reality of an America where small business, when they say small on TV, they talking about 50 to 100 employees. 95% of black businesses have one employee just themselves.
There you go.
Well, and let me just say this. This is one thing that to help everybody. Like, one of the things that we have to do is understand who we are.
Yes.
And so
that's a
if
solution.
You don't have any employees, I don't care if you got a subcontractor to do one thing for you and hire somebody. If you don't have any employees, I need you to stop calling yourself a business. The CEO of of Beanbag Enterprises on your Facebook or whatever. Because that is you are not understanding who you are. You are actually viewing yourself as a CEO. You are not a CEO. And I think
that's not important.
Dame Dash came out with t-shirts and and with the CEO. And people are wearing those thinking because I started this dream, you are not in a position to be competitive. I don't care. Like, I don't care how that makes you feel, but that's what you need to understand about yourself, to understand that the only field we have to play on, whether we win or lose, the only field is politics. That's it.
No, the only field we got to play on is the plantation.
To the field of dreams.
Look, just to make this clear, important, what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to
drop in
not
saving us,
90-second video. Watch this 90-second video to get context on the data. We'll be right back. Tone Talks presents the reality behind the racial wealth gap. In America, we understand race as a literal foot race, where whites just got a lead based on effort, when in actuality, due to several hundred years of slavery and 100 years of Jim Crow, black people were more like the shoes whites wore down to run forward economically. The recent data from the Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances tells a story that even though the media shows us young black millionaires like Steph Curry and LeBron James, without the family car, the middle black family is worth just over $4,000, while the middle white family is worth over $140,000 using the same account. Wow. In fact, according to the Federal Reserve data, the middle or 50th percentile black family is equivalent in wealth to the 20th percentile white family. In terms of wealth, black middle is the equivalent of white poor. The upper echelon of wealth tells us much the same stories, showing that white America makes up nearly all of our nation's top 1%, with only 380,000 black families having a net worth more than even a single $1 million. All while, according to the new data, 15% of white families are worth more than $1 million, and over 1 million white American families are worth more than $10 million. The racial wealth difference isn't just a gap, it's a seismic hole that's only growing and needs policy immediately to fix it. Subscribe to learn more at tonetalks.org.
See, that's some good information. That's some good data that he gave. But policy is not going to fix this, y'all. Policy is never going to make the slaves equal to the slave masters. Just stop it. Just stop it. Now, I'm not saying that we should not be a part of the political apparatus as Israelites. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying if we're going to be a part of it, we're going to have to be a part of it as Israelites or as an advocacy of Israelites. But we can't be doing it as Black Americans. You know, we can't be it under that nomenclature.
That what I want to come back to is you know, Charles Ellison, great writer at The Root, writes great pieces. He wrote a piece called The 5 Ways the Republican Tax Reform the Hardest. And essentially what he showed is that there's 5 ways that this just devastates Black folk. And those 5 ways are starving government so it can't pay for programs, for wealthy white people's tax cuts. Understand, you believing that you can get an LLC doesn't get you into the status where you benefit from this tax cuts. Almost all the wealthy people in this country are white. I just showed you in the video prior.
And that's the way it's supposed to be.
Popular state and local tax deductions. Demolish the safety net, number 4. And number 5, prices go up as states squeeze Black folks and create more of the system we saw like in Ferguson with ticketing schemes and everything else to keep white life as it always has been. $100, $300 parking tickets or something crazy. That can never happen. In Atlanta, a parking ticket is $25. In Pasadena and Los Angeles, is down there $70. You tell me how that gap exists. You know, did you read that article? That was a good one.
Yeah, I saw that article. And one of the things you have to know, there was a great article that was in the newsletter last week that I send out every Sunday about walking while Black and the laws in some communities. You know, I think it was one specific community about walking the wrong way and being on the sidewalk, not just jaywalking, all kind of weird walking laws. And so, you know, for people who be like, well, you don't get a ticket, you won't get bothered if you just do the right thing. Understand that one of the things that's happened, in addition to open,
that sounds like Black code.
Like we have, there are all these laws. There's too many. Everything is open regulated. So you have laws about how you can and cannot walk, even when that doesn't endanger anybody. Remember Miami Gardens? I put that up on the show this past week. Miami Gardens, when they were stopping and senior citizens, children, all kinds of people being harassed because that money has to come from somewhere. And you have to understand, in a dog-eat-dog, shark-eat-shark capitalism, the money comes from the weakest. That's who gets exploited. And whether you realize it or not, that's us.
And you know, I don't want to make this too number heavy. I've covered some number, you go into the tax table. I just kind of want to show you one way that you see this gamesmanship going on. I don't think we really understand it. This isn't just about the most impoverished of us. This is the working poor. This is the working class. So I'm going to use a single mother of 3 that files, and so like single mother of 3 that makes $70,000. She's been on the job 15 years, college educated. She makes $70,000. Now, mind you, they don't care how much debt it takes for you to make the 70. There's no equating how much student loan payment or any of that. No, your gross is 70. What was happening before this is that mother of 3 was able to use a deduction of head of household for the 3 children to take 25 off of her gross to get to like a 45 as an example. Is essentially, we move from a 45 to essentially, just to get it right, about a 52 when she can only deduct 18. You have a bump in the amount of people who are above the line. Many of our people who are hardworking college educated people who clearly have not gotten the message that we don't want to give you no programs. And I think we don't understand, we don't have no safety net because the wealth has never been distributed to our families to deal with the reality of this new America and still have the amount of dreams and hopes we have.
What do you mean?
You want to speak on that again?
No, I agree. And I think, you know,
that's a telltale sign because if it's never been where we could fulfill our dreams, maybe the Most High is trying to tell us something. You think? Nope.
To celebrate the making of 1 million Rangers, Polaris is honoring the hard-working communities that made it all possible. Your vote will enter you for a chance to win an all-new Ranger.
One of the things you might want to do right now, when you look at those changes, is pull out your own tax form and see how that affects you. I mean, what we got to start doing is putting in the work and seeing how many of these programs is going to go away because of what's coming down the pipe. Because what they're basically telling you and telling all of us is that you don't get to dream about stuff. Like we had a whole period where you could dream about stuff and affirmative action was there, and you could conceivably because of affirmative action and all kind of other little patchwork programs, you know, this is the natural ending of Bill Clinton's welfare reform. This is always where Republicans wanted to go, and Democrats started helping them go there. And Bill Clinton was the beginning of that, and this is the end of that. This is like, and that's why they don't care that the majority of Americans. I saw George Will yesterday, the Republican columnist, say, well, Americans don't know a lot, so you can't use polls to kind of say whether or not this is a good thing. And that's kind of their attitude. Like you don't know, you don't get to have. They don't believe in democracy. They don't think you get to have a say in your own life, that you get to do that. No, you're just pawns in this thing that we run. And I think they're now finally pulling the level all the way down. They've been pulling it, and this is Democrats' fault too, because Democrats, because of the way campaign finance is constructed, Democrats have been with them. Right? Democrats have been on the door. So there has never been a real opposition to what they've been doing. Democrats have been like, well, let's make a deal. You saw that with Obama. Everybody's talking about net neutrality now, but nobody wants to talk about the guy over there at the FCC as an Obama appointee, right? So this is where we are, and there hasn't been any opposition. That's part of the reason that Americans don't really understand taxation and how redistribution works, because Democrats are always trying to make a deal with Republicans, right? So they can all get money from those donors and funders, and that's why nobody cares, because the funders like this, and that's the donors like this. The donor class, for the majority, not all of them, like it. What your political system is telling you is that you don't matter no more.
So let's move back to this mother of 3 with 7. Realizes her other 2 kids, all right, one is in Head Start, and the other one is.
Maybe the Most High is telling us we don't matter. You know, maybe the Most High is trying to tell us through them that we don't matter here. So concerned about all these things. That's why he said in Matthew 6:33, seek first the kingdom. See? Seek first the kingdom. But we don't want to do that.
In an after-school program, the Star Alliance College Prep Program. Well, they're going to cut Head Start by 200,000 people, and then they're going to cut a lot of these programs or the funding that makes them available. They're cutting Medicaid. They're going to cut. I mean, this is called starving the beast. There won't be money in the budget for the same Medicaid, for the same so many programs that you. And I'm gonna let Yvette, after I finish, explain Medicaid, just so we don't talk about it in a general sense. We understand what it kind of applies to. But what you start to see is that all 3 of your kids now need you to come up with thousands of dollars at once. That's what I'm saying to you. Now, in addition, so you're hit by that, but in addition, now your tax bill, there's a $7,000 increase for this single mother of 3. Mm-hmm. It's offset by a slight increase in the amount of child tax credit after adjusted gross, but it doesn't make up for the 7,000. So even if it, your number you take to the tax table goes up, let's just say $4,000 or $4,500, $1,000. So you're down $1,000, maybe $1,500. So that mother, 70,000, kids of 3, say her refund used to be $3,200. Now her refund is $2,000. But she got to pay for programs for the youngest, for the middle, and she need to make up for that Pell Grant for the oldest. And that doesn't even deal with the SEOG grant, which is another $4,000 they're talking about cutting. They're making it so that if you go to college, you got to pay.
Right.
This is all built into this. And I don't think that we...
That's good. That's good. Maybe if the Most High block us from going to these schools, putting our children in these schools, we'll have tighter families and we'll have family businesses. And we'll be able to come together as family networks and get something going. But we ain't gonna never get nothing going as long as they are feeding us, as long as the Most High is feeding us through the tax programs. And don't think that just because you're not on any social services programs, any social services, because anytime they give you any tax incentives, that's a social program right there. That's a social program right there. You're able to do these deductions and child credits and all this kind of stuff. When they cut that stuff down, we're going to have to start looking for the Most High or go into a life of crime. Okay? Long as everything is hunky-dory and we make a God out of our jobs, a deity out of our jobs, we're not going to be able to get close to the Most High. So the Most High is cutting programs. The taxes are going to go up higher. They're going to make it where they're going to probably make it, you're going to have to pay to go to school. You don't have to pay to go to public school. Now you're already paying through taxes. But I'm talking about out-of-pocket pay. And that'll be good. That's a good thing if we don't go to these schools. These kids need to start learning the trade soon as they're able to walk. Soon as they're able to be potty trained, they should be learning the trade. Put a pot in their hand, a skillet. Let them play with some flour, some dough, some nails, some hinges, some hammers. That's what we need to be doing. Then you don't need to go to school. You're gonna have you'll be a good rounded person. Put some electrical wires in their hands, not live ones. You know, farming, goats, animals, horticulture, husbandry.
Ever digested the consequence of being from slaves, the consequence of not getting reparations, and also the consequence of being apolitical for so long. And you know, politics aren't a choice if you're African American. They're a right. I wanted you to kind of chime in on Medicaid, not so much the cuts, because we know that they're proposing like I think around 30%. What does Medicaid cover?
Well, the thing with Medicare is that what people have to understand is Medicare covers a broad number of expenses, right? You're talking about everything from doctor's visits to long-term care. You're talking about all of it when you talk about Medicare. Yeah. And I think what people don't understand is that, make sure you're trying to offer, that covers normally people who are, low-income people or whatever. We're not talking, Medicaid and Medicare. Well, Medicaid, talking about older people, talking about poor people, right? So one of the things that you have to understand is that Obamacare, even though I had problems with Obamacare because I believe in single payer, one of the things that you have to understand is Obamacare was sort of a redistribution of wealth to the bottom, right? because all of these subsidies went to subsidize healthcare. Now we operate because it's subsidized private companies, and I don't think that's still unsustainable. But it's a redistribution from the top to the bottom. What you're going to have now is taking away from Medicaid and Medicare, because that's what's coming. Whether or not you see all this specifically in this bill, that's what it is. Because what they're going to do, this bill is going to blow a hole in the deficit. And then what they're going to come back is deficit. So we got to take care of that, and we got to slice these programs down. And there was a great article at CNBC just a few days ago that showed even elderly right now aren't getting coverage, aren't getting a lot of procedures and things they need because they still have to cover some, and that's too much given their income level.
But what would you come back to what you're saying there? Effectively,
okay, I think that's it. That's enough. But I thought and I was hoping that you'd be edified by this. To the rest on your own. Their video is the same as mine. It should appear in the same place. But yeah, we have to look and hear everything as Israelites, as a group of people that's supposed to be repentant of our sins. I don't care if it's tax reform. I don't care if it's education. I don't care if it's health care. I don't care what it is. Social issues. We need to, and we need to start talking to our family and our children about these things. Xbox. Sit down with them. Listen to these things. Talk to them about these things. Talk these things through with your children. So they will be well-rounded. And they don't think like everybody else, and they don't know nothing about nothing, and they live here, But anyway, this is Prophet Robert. Now would be. I'm signing out. You all take it easy and shalom.